general election. And wow, what a shock. We had a date for a snap general election, the 8th of June 2017, 3 years early. 3 years, 3 years. Now that's big. But Theresa May undertook recently not to call a snap general election. Plus, she is now refusing to hold any public debate. All I can say is never ever trust a Tory. To hand it to her, we can see why she's done this. She clearly has a lot to hide as we look ahead to the massive mess that the Tories know is to come. Of course, they need a general election now before that wave hits. With Trump wanting war with Syria, with Russia, and North Korea now, how can unelected Prime Minister take this country to war as allies without a vote of confidence for her in any election? And if anyone offers her that confidence, if anyone votes for her, you should know that you are in effect voting for World War III. You're voting for her in support of Trump in any war that he creates. And if she denies him that support in any war, do you think that he will honour his promises about business deals with the USA? Not a chance. He's a businessman. Why are you not getting this? Businessmen don't stick to their promises. They do what's in their own best interests. And so what makes them more money? That's all they're bothered about. Trump is not worried about the UK and its financial position during Brexit. He's looking for what he can make out of this so-called friendship. He will not support us if we don't support him in these wars. Know that. Can you really put your trust in Theresa May, a woman who has bombed Syria, creating parentless children, left them to rot alone in the Calais jungle, left our elderly and infirm without care, withheld funding from local councils, refused to pay workers worth and allow non-tax-paying cronies to employ illegally without redress on less than minimum wage, paid massive bonuses to bankers and gave taxes out to rich cronies, sold arms to rogue traders and warmongers, resulting in incalculable deaths, gave election counting contracts to Tory MPs, resulting in election fraud, cheated on electoral expenditure, denied our children education by furthering an experimentation of our schools without qualified teachers, robbed the disabled of benefits, treated mental health and sick as undeserving, run down the NHS, closed off access to employees, redress to employment rights, closed off legal aid resources, sold off transport infrastructure and any profitable services, killed her own people by literally pushing them to suicide and malnutrition. The list is endless, and idiots want this excuse for a human being in charge of our country some more. She should be imprisoned for human rights violations and treason. We are doing under this government, what we are doing is creating the next generation of people who want revenge on the West for murdering their families. No peace will come from this. Hindsight is great, but as we know, we never should have invaded in the first place, and these countries are ruled by so-called tyrants for a reason, and Trump is absolutely one of them. In all of these events, the proof will come out years later, far too late to do anything about it. But we can do something about it now. We can stop it now by putting our faith in one man who wants this to stop now. War begins in the minds of men. I've said this many times, and it can end in the minds of men as well. We have to give peace a chance. As stated, Assad had nothing to gain, and his enemies, although not reported, have killed many innocent people as well. They all have. So basically, in any of these wars, there are no winners. The war, the violence, the system is extensively sanctimonious, making criminals and then pushing them, making morality a crime, and reversing our inherent progression with their self-proclaimed power. There will never be a change when it's in the hands of those who are already privileged and in high position. Why would they change a hierarchy clearly working in their favour time and time again? The masses are steered by governments that are as morally corrupt as the crimes they claim to be governing. How is it that a handful of affluent individuals can judge, condemn, undermine, determine, and rule entire pieces of the earth, billions of people, all looking in the same direction, a direction that is convenient, full of agenda, a direction that is made solely to distract as they take more and more of your power, dignity, courage, and life force away, diverting our attention with illusions of categorizations that we fit into and tailored to none. If everyone is looking in a certain direction, then turn around, go in the opposite way. Better yet, make a new direction or elevate. It is down to each of you to make a change in history from the same war-mindedness and bloody-mindedness, afraid to lose friends and so go to war as allies or lose business. Open your eyes to what they are blinding you with. Products that make it effortless to track you, sell you disease, and scare you. You are only a number, a credit card number, a phone number, a house number, a number in line, a number, an amount, a number that adds to their value, a number who continues to do the same thing over and over and over again, expecting different results, a number who does as they all are told to do and are led to do by the media lies and agenda to keep the status quo, one which leads us continuously like zombies towards poverty and war. As soon as you become a name, you've best watch your back, because a name is a leader and a leader has followers, and they only want followers marching in their line to their tune. We are powerful in unison, but we unite in stupidity, voting for the same thing out of fear of change. But isn't change exactly what we need? And isn't fear a tool that they use to keep you marching to the same drums for the same cause, theirs? As our own relevance diminishes with every utterance of self-defeating ignorance, everyone is walking to the same tune, and those awake are put on medications, taken too soon from this earth, bullied, incarcerated, or targeted. It is no secret that we are more and more dependent on things. It is no secret that millions die daily all over the world for oil, for wealth, and for betterment for the elite only. And we are ingesting poisons on a daily basis and getting sick because of it. And there is no secret that treatments are more profitable than cures, cures causing avoidable deaths as pharmaceuticals birth their next attempt to cure something that is solely man-made. None of this is a secret, so why is it that we are whispering around about what matters and not screaming about its significance? What matters is peace in the world, but how do we have peace when we're all living in fear of what our governments are telling us, and telling us to keep voting to kill and bomb some more for profit? We all need to stand still for a moment and look at the devastation we cause, and rewind and replay that tape recording until you get it. You voted for this before, and are you going to vote for this again? Are you going to vote for more of this? Are you going to vote for the same thing over and over again? Don't dwell on the negative or believe it. Realize that for every bad deed, there have been many good. For every piece of bad news, there has been good news. And it is nothing to do with the celebrities or the fallacies or endorsements that you see on your TV. Endorse yourself. Add to the world. Do not subtract from it by belittling yourself. You have the power to make these changes, and it is your right and furthermore your duty to add value and elevation to the collective consciousness. Do not degrade yourself and us further into a state of dulled, blatantly controlled humanity. It's time for us to shine. It's time for us to bring to power someone who is not only for us but stands side by side with us. And we have got to be not just behind him but beside him too, fighting the cause for honesty, bringing justice back to the justice systems, fighting the cause for the relevant causes who are dying under this wicked system that supports only the rich. You have immense power inside of you, and so does the person by your side, Jeremy Corbyn, and the ones beside him. If we all swim with the same pure intention, the power would be undeniably effective in producing a ripple effect in our favour. Don't look for differences, see the immense likeness, pierce through the illusion and stay focused on the cause for honesty, peace, care and truth. Avoid the destinations that you've been steered into by those you have seen do the same thing again and again whilst breaking so many promises. They will only lead you to the same end. It is time to take the wheel and pave yourself to a new road, a free road, not only for yourself, but for those lost right beside you. Leave nobody behind. We need to be reaching out our hands to everybody who are struggling and suffering and pull them up. If it does not empower, dismiss it. If it does not exist, create it. Now is our time to bring to power a peacekeeper, and Jeremy Corbyn is that man. Americans trusted in Trump to build bridges with the Russians. He has failed already, but I'm 100% assured that Jeremy Corbyn will do what the American people voted for and haven't got: a hope for peace. And for those who won't be voting for a Labour government this time around because you don't think that people will vote for them, or you've been told that Jeremy Corbyn has got no chance of getting in, then you are part of the problem. Question: how do we continue to work with people who are happy with more of the same war, poverty and pain in the world so long as it isn't affecting them directly? Those who voted Brexit because they hoped we wouldn't get thousands of refugees, you are going to still get them. One person who has always been honest about this was Jeremy Corbyn. I read in an article in the papers which states that police forces under this government drop investigations in more than 1.5 million crimes, including murder, rape and child cruelty, at an early stage. Meanwhile, laws and statistics that Tony Blair created whilst he was in power, whether he had determined that thousands of children should be adopted yearly, these policies still stand under this government today. And so innocents are taken to court and children taken into care for the most ridiculous of things, like maybe parents not getting along together. Don't blame the police. Blame the massive 8 years of government cutbacks enforced on the police, supposedly enforced because of the recession, yet still being enforced past the recession. In the good old days before the real reductions in officer numbers in the Met, even if they were no witnesses to the crime and the victim could not remember what the criminal looked like, and there were no DNA, CCTV or other evidence, police would still investigate. However, now there are vastly fewer police, fewer officers. Lots of their equipment does not work. They are supposedly getting iPads in order to write crime reports directly from the crime scene, but where are they? Backup departments like HR who don't do that don't do the office. Who don't do HR, and the officers who have to do their own HR, officers tied to more and more desk work with the shrinking demise of the criminal justice department, more caring and sharing work with victims, and the politicians forcing politically correct style policing and policing targets on the police and also social workers. I'm even going to stand by social workers and say that they are understaffed, they are underpaid. Social care is being squeezed to its limits, and children and parents are being wrongfully accused because of it. And when people complain about parents on benefits, they don't get it that children are being put into foster care, and you are even paying for that. You, the taxpayer, are paying for those children when that happens so that the parents can go out to work. Where's the point in that? The difference between good social workers and good police and bad is those who continue to raise those targets using innocent people and framing them into losing their kids, their driving license, their livelihood, because they need to pay their bills, their rent or mortgage, where housing benefit used to be paid in full and council tax paid in full. Now people are losing their homes and their children along with it. Then they have to be rehoused, another big bill that you have to pay for. This is where the system is all wrong, whether it fights to make everybody go to work, their children are being let down, they need parents around. Whereas there's no longer any values in citizenship, social care, it's all about what money you make, and if you don't, then you're deemed worthless. A vicious cycle that we are entrapped within, as the system may well be creating more workers, but they are doing jobs that create hate, anger, harm, where they fail to catch the real criminals and criminalise the innocent instead. Look at the thousands of children who slip through social services net. Even today, children beaten to death, broken bones, starvation, locked in disgusting rooms, and animals too. These are the families and children who are let go because there is no evidence, because these people are good at hiding evidence. These are the people with something to hide. The honest people are the ones that are getting their children taken because they're saying, I need some help right now. But it is actually, it's disgusting the way that this is happening. These children are really, a lot of children are in pain now. Children that were perfectly fine before living with their parents. One parent I've heard about who'd smeared chocolate around a child's face to hide bruises, and that child ended up dead. Whereas who are on lower income are hounded and hounded because one parent is saying maybe nasty stuff about the other. We need more counselling, we need more support in families. We need change, and we need it now, and we need it from a Labour government that opposes not only the Tories but also the previous Labour government policies too. I hope that in the next couple of months the Blairite side of Labour Party wakes up and instead of attacking the leader realises that if they don't get behind Jeremy and his policies now, they will be out of work. Those who continue to want a Blairite-led Labour may as well be wanting another Tory government. When I look at Jeremy Corbyn's policies, his law policies that would help the less privileged, where thousands of less well-off are able to get legal aid, Jeremy's Labour's government will stop this madness dead in its tracks. They will no longer be able to blame poorer parents to keep up their statistics and targets, because this is what's happening. The poorest families are losing their children, unable to fight their case, never mind that they are innocent. Meanwhile, those with big money can appoint a lawyer to get them off with worse than murder, with abuse, paedophile rings run by these sick individuals. And this is all going on, obviously, in these higher paid areas in our life, in our government. We've seen it, and it's with celebrities. Question who pays for this? The real victims, the innocent victims, the poorer families, those having children taken from them without a real defence behind them, causing them for these children to be harmed, to be leaving care with mental health issues, having been so traumatised in childhood as they were ripped from families and parents who they loved and would never do harm to them. Because of government statistics and targets, parents jail because they cry for their children. This is the world we live in and we must expose. This is the world that we continue to create when we keep choosing the same type of government over and over again, who will continue these same atrocities towards families. Because when you're saving money in one area, it is being taken from another. So we must fight not only against the Tories coming to power again, but the Blairites from taking over our Labour. We have the right man to lead us in our quest for a better world, and I have never felt so strongly about this in all my life. I was never into politics before all of this, but I feel now that it is time for us to all unite, to bring one man who stands for all that we've been wanting into power, to stand beside him and to be his voice. It's time for us to shine. This is my motto right now. Let's get some excitement behind this, the same that we all felt during the leadership elections, and work to build a better Britain. The time is now, our time is now, and it's time to make the changes that we want to see in the world. We must all fight to bring Jeremy Corbyn to power on our behalf, to give back power to the people, or this country will be filled with thousands of children who, like my own child, leaves the care system suicidal and self-harming. And I tell you something, if it can happen to me, it can happen to any one of you. Please listen. Many people are being robbed of a family life. There is no justice in this. And the justice will come when we have a decent justice system that actually caters for everybody. And where, as Jeremy Corbyn keeps saying, where no one is left behind. Thank you, love you people, for listening to me, and I hope that helps you to make some decisions. Just love to you all. Namaste.